a mini tramp. Oh, hi folks, I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical therapist.
Together we are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
Well, Bob, in our opinion, of course, and we got a mic today, so
Yeah.
we'll see what we can do.
Today, it is our great pleasure to have with us Kyle Frank. Kyle is a nutritional consultant.
Yep,
Did
yep.
I say that right?
Yes.
And a personal trainer.
Yep.
He works with is it called the Diet Doctor? I mean, we got that right on your shirt here.
The Diet Doc.
The Diet Doc.
Yes.
So this is based on the principles of Joe
Klemczewski.
Klemczewski. I'll let you say it, and we'll put all this information below. But this is an amazing story because Kyle, I guess the biggest thing that we're going to point out here, you lost 80 pounds.
Roughly, yes.
Yeah, and look at this guy now. He could do a double arm bar a little bit.
That's okay. I'll pass. I'll pass.
He doesn't believe in that, but I mean, he is fit. We just did an exercise, a video on the kettlebell, and man, he's just, you're the ultimate fitness right now. So what we're going to do is try to find out today how you got into this kind of shape, and maybe a little bit about the program.
Yep.
But do you mind, before I do that, if we could just welcome people here? Welcome into our program. If you are new to our program, please subscribe to us. We provide videos how to stay healthy, fit, pain-free, and we upload every day. And also, we're going to teach you how to lose weight. And also, if you have a chance, go over to the Facebook and like us, because Brad and I, as children, we're not liked. We were picked on. And so we're trying to turn things around. So
We got Matt.
Make
to
friends.
find that.
Make friends.
yeah. You said Matt?
Matt,
Kyle.
I'm sorry, Kyle.
Oh, that's
We
okay.
didn't hear you anyway. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so I really feel like I'm muted, which I was. But
Yeah.
now I got the microphone. I'm going to start singing.
okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
Why don't we go ahead and get started, Kyle? Why don't you just kind of a little brief tell how you lost, the period of time over you lost the weight, and maybe the method that you used.
Sure. My name is Kyle, as he said, and I live in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, so I own the Diet Doc Eau Claire. We're just a brief synopsis. We're just a company that is focused on helping people reach their goals in nutrition and weight loss, sports performance, and we have owners literally all over the world. And I'm the guy in Wisconsin in Eau Claire.
So Kyle could work with you no matter where you are. I mean, let's say you're up in the Twin Cities, like Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Yeah, we actually do not have any owners in Minnesota right now. So I'm typically, if we get inquiries from Minnesota,
You're going to handle that.
They get fielded to me. Yep.
All right, we're going to refer some people to you, by the way.
That sounds good.
You got about 20 clients right now, you said?
Yep.
So, and the way the program works, it sounds like you sign up for like 50 days, 100 days, or 150. That's the three options?
Yep.
Am I saying that right?
Yep.
And maybe you could try 50. If you like it, go to the 100.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely, yep.
And you were talking about this is really more of a lifestyle change as opposed to a fad, right?
Yes. The dieting industry is horrendous for sustainable results, sustainable over time. And I think that's, you mentioned fads. That's one of the things that we have to look at is how realistic is a dietary approach to your life, and if you're able to maintain that approach long term.
So, for example, you didn't lose your 80 pounds in 4 or 5 months.
No.
It was a period of years.
Right.
But you've had that off now for a number of years.
Yes.
And it's not just lost that weight and now you're happy and then you're going to gain it back. I mean, you've changed your lifestyle and it's got you the way that you are and you stay this way.
Yeah. It's more or less kind of trial and error and finding an approach that worked well for me, and then the rest is just second nature. So it doesn't feel like work, right?
Yeah, and I think, I've seen it as a P90X too.
Yeah.
I had two friends that were on it, and they looked great. They got in great shape, and now they're off, and now they look worse than ever.
Yeah.
I mean, and to me, that's the same thing. It's such an intense program, it's hard to make it a lifestyle decision.
It is,
I
yeah.
mean, and so, Kyle and I we were all talking before the program here, and he was saying that these things are individualized.
Yes.
So like he's working with my son, who is an athlete.
Yep.
And maybe you want to talk about how that went. Versus you might have a woman that's just trying to lose some weight, and the goals and the food that you have her eat, and probably the exercises are all going to be different.
Right.
And so.
Yeah, so when we take individuals in, we really look at them. We do an intake process, and we just look at a lot of different things: their goals, their lifestyle factors, their exercise routine, their likes and dislikes as far as food, and then we just it's really a relationship that we build, and we work with them to develop a program that works well for them. So, you know, somebody like Matt, his son, has a totally different, you know, amount of food and stuff that he's eating compared to, you know, maybe like a stay-at-home mom, and because his activity during the day completely warrants a lot more calories to help him fuel his body and recover from the activities that he's involved in.
Yeah.
So it sounds like this program, you're being a coach,
Yep.
basically,
Yep.
and you communicate with your clients once a week. Is that correct?
Yeah, we have a formal check-in once a week, and then I have private Facebook groups for clients that they get put in where they can ask things throughout the week and to get support from others, which I think is huge. And they can step in and they'll ask questions. But yeah, their formal check-in where we kind of go over everything that's been happening the previous week is usually once a week.
Okay, did we mention the book?
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, so it's called 50 Days to Your Best Life, Bodies Crossed Out. So
Right.
yeah.
Life.
Life,
Life.
again. So the diet doc, and again, you got it on your shirt there.
Yep.
Kyle, so how important is, like, let's say someone's married,
Yep.
and you know, do they have to be on the program too, or I mean, obviously it would help, right? I mean, do you address that issue at all? Like,
Yeah. One of the questions on our intake form is the support system that people have, and
Right.
it's you know, it's very difficult if you're in a relationship with somebody that has no attention to their health or their eating behavior, and you're trying to be healthy. You're going to battle a little bit and have struggles because most likely that person's bringing home Pizza
Right.
Hut and
Bring
stuff,
it on-
and you're
exactly.
trying, right? And it's
And-
hard. It can be really hard.
Yeah, because I mean, I think most of us really don't, you know, we succumb to temptation pretty easily.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not hard. I mean, to me, you know, I think they always talk about the battles at the grocery store, you know, because
Yep.
if you don't bring it home, you can't eat it.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's true. Like, my wife orders pizza. I'm like, oh, this smells so good. It's just hard now.
Right.
So, do you want to talk a little bit about the macros?
Sure.
The basics of the program. So,
Sure. Yeah. So, I think where we separate ourselves in the industry is, we don't generally hand people a slip of paper that says you can only eat these foods and you cannot eat these foods. It's more or less macronutrient based approach, which is, for those of you that don't know, macronutrients are your protein, carbohydrates, and fat. Those three make up calories. So again, that's going to be individual per person. There's some averages and generalities that we can use with most people, but we have people track their food and to get an objective look at what they're taking in and
so
monitor.
you're talking about. So you're gonna come to me. And you're gonna say, Bob,
Yep.
you can have so many fats.
Yep.
Basically based on calories. Is that how we track them?
Yep.
And so many carbs
Yep.
and so many
Protein.
proteins.
Yep.
So and for some people it may be less carbs, obviously depending, like you said, if
Yep.
they're an athlete or if they're basically you're looking at calories to some extent, right?
Yep. To some extent.
To some
Yep.
extent, but yet you put them in categories.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
yeah. If you just random number, if you were taking in 2,000 calories from just pure carbohydrate and fat, and no protein, that's going to look very different than if someone were to,
Sure.
Yep.
So if you the sugars are going to be in the carbohydrate category.
yep.
So you're gonna, if you have that candy bar, that's a lot of calories.
It can be. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
So it's
Adds
gonna
up.
you have to determine if you're going to spend your carbs on a candy bar versus
Something else. Like an
something else
apple.
that might be a little bit
Right.
not as tasty, but
Yeah. Right.
So to get started on your program, initially you get that educate the person on how they're going to start the diet.
Yep.
And their exercise. It's a combination.
Yep, for some people. And some people, it's just they already have an exercise program, and we just focus on nutrition, and other people, we combine
So it's
the
a
two.
custom.
Yep,
fit,
yep.
And then once a week. But you said also the people can communicate with each other. Like if you have 20 clients, they can use the other 19 people for support.
Yeah.
And communicate back and forth on Facebook. Is that correct?
Yeah, we make a private group for all of them. I put them all in there, and it's pretty cool. A lot of times, before I can even answer questions, some of my more experienced clients are in there jumping in, trying to help each other out. They're sharing recipes, sharing successes, sharing struggles, and kind of like a little
Nice.
built-in little built-in community.
So besides your obvious success, have you had some clients that have had some good success, hopefully?
Oh yeah, yes, I have. I've had a couple that are doing amazing progress. They're on my social media. That
That's
people
cool.
can find,
Yeah, that helps, doesn't it?
Yes.
See, again, that before and after is just stunning.
It's-
I mean,
it's
really
amazing.
is. So I haven't read the book. I think I'm gonna go ahead and read the book.
I'm certainly interested in it myself.
Yeah, because a lot of exercise. Sorry about that.
They can't, that's all right. I agreed.
Concurred. But are these based like on scientific or sound nutritional principles? I'm assuming they are.
Yeah, yep. Dr. Joe, who was
He's a PhD
in
and a
many
PT,
things.
a physical therapist.
Yeah, he was a former physical therapist, very smart man. He has degrees in a variety of fields, and we look at things on a scientific base, what research shows of what people need, not the latest and greatest fad that's out there
Right.
running the market,
Yeah, and we were talking before the program again. With a lot of these fads, you don't know how they're going to turn out.
No.
I mean, you don't know what the research is going to say 10 years from now. Like,
Yep.
that was an awful idea.
Yep.
I mean, now we're starting to see this problem in the people who did ketosis or whatever. I mean,
Yep.
not to say it's going to be bad, but maybe
Yep,
it
yeah.
may be fine. But you're rolling the dice a little bit.
You are, yeah.
So,
yeah.
So generally, do people like after the 150 days they're on their own? Do they feel like they can handle things, or?
It's going to be individual for every person. So some people meet their goals, and then we try to have enough time in their program to transition them into a maintenance phase, so then they can learn habits and just how to maintain that, because we don't. That's one thing we focus on is the sustainability. We don't want people to lose weight and then gain it back and go through those cycles again.
So once the people are done with their program, whether it's 100 or 150 days, can they continue to get support and communicate with their people, that your clients on Facebook?
Yep, that's all set up for them. And if they, for some reason, they're not where they want to be and they want to continue on, there's always renewal options, and they
Sure.
can keep working with me. Yeah.
You bet.
Well, this sounds really good. It sounds like it makes sense. It's practical, and again, I like the fact that it's staying away from those things that are basically, quote fads, and we're not sure how they're going to turn out. So, Kyle, really glad to meet you. Really
Yeah,
glad
thanks for
that
having
you
me.
came in today.
Thanks for
I'm
coming.
sure the contact information is below. So,
Yeah.
thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.